Hey y'all, I'm James Wright and welcome to my shop. A couple weeks ago I did a video on rabbet planes and this went over very well. A lot of people really like that. But one question I kept getting is how do you sharpen the nicker? How do you sharpen that spur on there? It's a tiny little piece. And it is something that I thought it was a common sense thing, but apparently it's not. So I want to dive into a little bit more of how do you sharpen this tiny little piece and get an edge that works pretty well. So the spur on the plane is this little piece right here, and what it is it's a little knife that can be rotated so that one of these petals sticks down below the iron. Here on my Stanley 45 I have one in place where it's sticking down. You can see it's just sticking down about a 32nd inch, just a little bit lower than the skate. And what this does is it slices the fibers just like a knife before the iron comes into it. So if I want to cut a groove which is running with the grain, I don't need a spur on there because the chisel is just going to roll up the fibers as it cuts them off. But then if I want to go across the grain, the problem is that blade is basically just a chisel and it's going to make all of these fibers splinter up, and so I'll end up with fibers splintering up on both sides, and we really don't like that for clean cuts. So in this case you have a spur that sticks down and it's basically like a knife, and so what it's going to do is it's going to slice the fibers on either side of the cut so that when the chisel comes through, it can just peel out those fibers that have been sliced. So if you think of this as just a tiny little knife that runs in front of the iron, well, that's basically all it is. So on something like this rabbet plane, which is only designed to cut the two faces, the bottom and the side, which is a rabbet, you only need the spur on one side. You don't need it on the other side because there isn't any material over on this side. But on something like the 45 or the 55, you need to have a spur on both sides so that you'll have one cutting this side of the iron and then another one cutting this side of the iron. So the spur, you can loosen the screw, and most of the time I just go ahead and pull it all the way out, making sure not to lose it. It's a tiny little thing. Then I can grab the spur itself, pull it out. And if you need to rotate it, then you can rotate it so that there's no spur sticking down, which is most of the time the way I'm going to need it. Or you can put another one in there. And sometimes you can see that this one, someone has ground it off flush, so that one's no longer any good. And so we need to move to one that is good. And most of the time when you get these fresh from the store, they're just blunt and flat on the end. So how do we actually sharpen that? I want to actually dive into how do you sharpen this tiny little thing. So now when these get dull or worn off, you could just go buy a new one. But most of the time when they're new, you can see like this, it's just a rounded end that's not sharp. So we're going to actually have to sharpen that up. But most of the time, I'm just working on this. I'm going to clean it up just a little bit. So let me show you what we do for that. If I'm just going to clean it up and touch it up a little bit on the stone, I'm probably just going to grab it with my fingers and then let the stone slide on my fingernail, and then I can sharpen it just like that. But on these new ones where you have this blunt end, it's really hard to do that. You're going to be grinding on it for a while and you're probably going to grind through your nail. For a little touch-up, it's not a problem with the nail, but for a lot of grinding, you're going to get through your nail before you get through the steel on this. So what I usually do is grab a pair of vice grips and just pinch it right in there. And then you can use the vice grip as your honing guide to grind it out like that. But for the amount of material you have to take off of this, I find it easier to actually come over here to the vise, put the vice grip into the vise, clamp that down, and I'm going to use a file to hone in the shape that I want on this. And I'm basically creating a knife. Now this steel here is actually a lot softer than your average tool steel. So with a file, it cleans up really quickly. And you just need to be very careful not to take it too far. So what I want to do is grind it down until there isn't any shiny spot left up on there. Just holding at an angle, running along. And it's probably pretty hard to see with the camera. It doesn't take too much at all before you're right about there. And there. Now I have a relatively nice sharp edge. It's still a little bit blunt up there. We're going to clean that up with the stones in a little bit. But that's about all I'm going to be doing with the file. So I'm going to start with my medium stone first. There really isn't any reason to go back to the coarse because it is so soft. It sharpens fairly quickly. Keep it on there. Let the vice grip do the work. I've seen several other YouTubers use this trick, and particularly Paul Sellers recently did a video showing how to do this with a spoke shave. The vice grips make a really nice, quick and easy way to hold small blades. There, now I've got a good edge on there. Bring it over here onto the fine, clean that up, and I'm not going to take this onto the strop because it is a softer steel. It's not going to last that long. You can see I'm rocking it from one side to the other, kind of creating that rounded knife. Then we're going to open up the vice grips, let it pop out, put it flat side down, just hold my finger on there, spin it around on the flat side. It will slip off a few times, it's a small piece. Once you get it down a little ways, make sure that the burr is off. And that's about it. You have a nice sharp edge right there ready to work. So a lot of times if I'm going to be doing a very delicate work and I need to make sure that I'm getting a really good cut on the spur, I'm going to take it off and just clean it up a little bit. And most of the time I'm just going to hold it in my fingers like this, and I'm going to let it rock on my fingernail, pinching it between the two so that my fingernail is sliding on the stone. And I'll just clean it up like that quickly, just a few seconds, and we're ready to go. That's all I normally do to sharpen these up and get them ready to run. So then when it's time to go back in, you set it back in, pick the blade that you want sticking down, find that little screw that always rolls away on you, and it's a good reason to have a magnet in the shop just to make sure that the screws don't run away, and tighten it back down. Don't put a lot of force on this because it is a very small screw. It doesn't need a lot to stay in there, and that's all you've got. You can feel it catches on your finger just a little bit as it runs through. That'll do the work for you. So now I have the Stanley 45 set up with the nicker on this side, and the other side I just left the nicker off so you can see the difference of with and without it. And we're going to cut cross grain here on this walnut. And so some people will say on your first pass you need to bring it back, and you can see here how it has scored on one side where it's sticking down, the other side there's nothing sticking down, so there's nothing coming out there. And then we can go forward. And you can see how the side here that has the spur sticking down is really nice and clean, and the side where it has nothing, well, it's not. I mean, it's usable, but it looks bad. After a few more passes here, the dado is starting to develop. The side with the spur is really nice and clean, and the side without it, it's functional, but it's really not clean. It ends up looking pretty bad. So that's what the spur is there to do. Gives you that really nice clean look between one and the other. So there you have it. The spur or nicker is just a lot of fun, and when you actually get it set up right, they do amazing things. Being able to cut across the grain with such clean accuracy, if you take your time and set it up well and sharpen it quickly, it really doesn't take that much. They're fairly soft steel, so they don't take that much to sharpen. Just make sure you turn them and put them back out of the way when you don't use them so that you're not wearing them out. And one little spur like that will last you pretty much a lifetime. They're not something that you burn through a lot unless you're going to be doing a lot of dados. So I hope you like this video. A little bit of information. I try and do a video like this every Thursday with some information about a tool or how-to. If you like that, please let me know it down below. Also, you may have noticed I don't have any sponsors on my channel, and that's here for a reason, because I want it to be all about what I want to be able to say to you, and I don't want other sponsors getting in the way. If you'd like to help out with that, I do have a Patreon page, as well as you can click the join button down below to become a member here on YouTube. That really does help out the channel. I hope you like that, and that's about it for today. And until next time, have a wonderful day. The real reason that the spurs have 3 different edges on it is so that you can have a different spur for each time you use it, otherwise known as the spur of the moment. Hey y'all, I'm James Wright, and welcome to my shop. A couple weeks ago I did a video on